Hello. Are you like me? Did you buy Europa Universalis several years ago, only to not play it for most of those years because the learning curve resembles the Grand Canyon to those who aren't born under the sign of Thoth? Or do you simply not understand how to play at a high skill level, like I can? No problem, because today, I have for you how to play this fustercluck of a game like an expert. I'm here to show you how you can take any nation, even the Byzantine Empire, to glory. First off, let's look at the map. Usually, Byzantium looks like this. This is a problem, so we'll make it look like this. Much better. We'll also take a generous gift from the Catholic Church. It's only polite to take one from our Catholic brothers. Next, we'll politely request some territory from a few neighboring countries. Negotiations usually take a few weeks, and it's a good idea to send a few thousand ambassadors into the other party's land to speed things up. Sometimes your neighbors may be so impressed by Roman diplomacy that you don't even need to send your legions of trained diplomats. They'll happily accept being part of your empire, after about 10 to 15 business years, of course. This is still faster than the United States Postal Service. You may, over the course of the game, notice that a military coalition has formed against your innocent attempts to grow your empire. But thankfully, we don't give a shit. This is because the top Byzantine mages possessed a way to reverse time and make it so these perceived aggressions never happened. Some may call it cheating and save scumming. I prefer the words, it's my save file and I choose how to enjoy myself. You might also notice that armies are expensive. Thus, I recommend having the maximum amount of what you can hold regardless of what your economic status is. The best way to make bread, after all, is to take someone else's. Something to take note upon in this completely legit Byzantium playthrough is religion. You see this? Defender of the faith? Fuck it. Ignore it. We don't do that here. Why? Because in the soon-to-be reformed Roman Empire, we don't conform to Christianity. We do not worship as either cringelic or cringedox. We pray to the old gods. Why? Because the buffs are infinitely better. Maybe not individually, but when your ruler dies, you can change your entire government's focus at the drop of a hat. You're gonna appreciate it. I like Hera because of her negation to aggressive expansionism. I guess people don't mind a bit of forceful negotiation when it's in the name of a kind, loving, healthy family life. Anyways, back to the game. You might think being surrounded on all sides by people who you'll inevitably go to war with is a bit of a downside. You might indeed think that if you breathe with your mouth and have issues reading at a first grade level. In reality, it means 90% of the time you won't be at war with someone you don't want to be at war with. This is because aggressive expansionism only applies to countries that are relatively nearby to the ones you're invading. What counts as relatively nearby? I haven't a fucking clue. But it does mean that by the time Europe is looking halfway like it does in modern times, I have a foothold in Italy and most of northern Africa is in my control. Because for some reason, no one gives a shit that I've taken out the Islamic caliphates and most of the Balkans and I'm showing no signs of stopping. And this too could be your Byzantium with just a few minor mods and the expert advice of this video. And since we're already shitting all over actual history, why not form a few Roman colonies in the Pacific Ocean? If it worked for the Dutch, it'll work for you. If someone else already has a few colonies there, politely yet firmly ask them to leave. If it's a power native to the region, don't even bother asking. I understand colonialism was a human rights atrocity, but in Paradox games, the Geneva Convention isn't a set of restrictions, it's a checklist. Make every colony your dominant culture so they never even think about rebelling. If they do, show them that the Romans killed God once, and they'll do it again. At a certain point, you might notice that individual nations are barely registering as a threat. This is good. If you never reach the point in a strategy game where you're the equivalent of Mike Tyson in a 5th grade karate class, you aren't playing the game right. Play until the map is entirely your color, like you just spilled wash paint all over your carpet. But this time, it won't end in your parents beating you for being a directionless waste of space and resources. If you don't have enough time in the game to do so, just add another mod that lets the game run until the year 9999. And if that's still not enough time, then I recommend not playing a Paradox game and having fun with yourself instead. I won't insult you for it, and anyone who does probably hasn't truly played a game for fun in several years. And that's just how easy EU4 can be. Could you do it with another power without the help of mods? Probably. But I'm too busy in my life having sex with my 3 weed-smoking girlfriends. Yes, they smoke weed. If I helped you find a new way to enjoy EU4, then I'm truly glad. If you're a Paradox purist who's about to leave a comment on how I'm a disgrace to the game for not conquering the world in 3 game weeks as the alienation of Samoa, then I cordially invite you to headbutt the nearest ceiling fan until the concept of fun re-enters your head. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and take care out there. Did you know it's possible that Constantinople only fell because a guard left a gate open which allowed the Ottomans to pour into the city? You know that feeling when you leave your house and you go, shit, did I leave the door unlocked? Imagine doing that, but it leads to the fall of the US or some shit. What a legacy.